Pearl Harbor versus 9/11. Two attacks that transformed America. Two mornings, 60 years apart. Both began in silence and ended with America at war. One attack pulled the United States into a world war. The other reshaped the modern world. This is not a story about which attack was worse. It's about how Pearl Harbor and 9/11 changed America forever. On December 7, 1941, the United States was attacked at Pearl Harbor. On September 11, 2001, the United States was attacked again, this time at home. Both moments shocked the nation. Both shattered illusions of safety, and both triggered decisions whose consequences are still unfolding today. But while the attacks are often compared, their effects were profoundly different. To understand modern America, we have to understand what changed after each one. America before the attacks. Before Pearl Harbor, the United States was not a global military superpower. The country was deeply isolationist. World War II was raging, but Americans wanted no part of it. Congress had passed laws to avoid foreign wars. Pearl Harbor didn't just attack ships, it attacked America's belief that distance meant safety. 9/11. America before 2001. Before September 11th, the U.S. was already the world's dominant power. The Cold War was over. There was no rival superpower. Terrorism was seen as a law enforcement issue, not a war. America felt untouchable. That illusion ended in less than 2 hours. The nature of the attacks. Pearl Harbor. A military strike. Pearl Harbor was a state-sponsored attack, targeted military assets, designed to cripple U.S. naval power. Japan believed a decisive blow would force America to retreat from the Pacific. Instead, it unified the nation overnight. 9/11. A psychological strike. 9/11 was different. Carried out by a non-state actor, targeted civilians and symbols of power, designed for maximum psychological impact. There was no army to defeat, no capital to invade. The enemy was everywhere and nowhere. That difference mattered. The immediate response. After Pearl Harbor, the response was immediate and clear. Congress declared war within 24 hours. The country mobilized on an industrial scale. Factories became arsenals. Civilians became part of the war effort. The goal was simple: defeat the enemy and end the war. After 9/11, the response was fast but far less defined. The U.S. declared a war on terror. The enemy was an ideology, not a nation. Military action began in Afghanistan within weeks. But unlike World War II, there was no clear endpoint. This war had no surrender ceremony. How each attack changed government power. Pearl Harbor's legacy. After World War II, America emerged transformed. The U.S. became a global superpower, helped create the United Nations, established military bases worldwide, took on the role of global stabilizer. The war expanded federal power, but it also ended. 9/11's legacy. After 9/11, government power expanded in a different way. Creation of the Department of Homeland Security, passage of the Patriot Act, mass surveillance programs, permanent airport security. The war never officially ended, and neither did the emergency powers. The costs. The cost of Pearl Harbor. World War II lasted 4 years for the U.S., ended with victory, redefined America's role in the world. The cost was immense, but the outcome was decisive. The cost of 9/11. The War on Terror spanned decades, involved multiple countries, cost trillions of dollars, resulted in long-term instability, and unlike World War II, the ending remains unclear. Cultural and psychological impact. Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor created national unity, a shared mission, a clear sense of purpose. The country knew what it was fighting and why. 9/11. 9/11 created fear of the unseen, permanent alertness, deep political division. It changed how Americans travel, trust, think about safety. The threat was no longer distant, it was internal. Which attack changed America more? Pearl Harbor changed what America became. 9/11 changed how America lives. One launched the United States onto the world stage. The other reshaped freedom, security, and privacy at home. Pearl Harbor led to a war that ended. 9/11 led to a conflict without borders or closure. Final reflection. History often asks which moment was worse. That's the wrong question. The real question is this: which change do we still live with? Because while Pearl Harbor reshaped America's power, 9/11 reshaped its mindset. And in many ways, we are still living inside that transformation. If history teaches us anything, it's this: the attacks may last minutes, but the consequences can last generations. Which moment do you think changed America more, and why?